Hi guys, Deneen here, and I wanted to share with you how I am going to take this Halloween cauldron and turn it into a Christmas sack that I could use in my December daily album this year. I fell in love with what Allie did with this cauldron in her Halloween album. She kind of made it into a little interactive home for her tags and her little goodies. And I thought, that kind of reminds me a little bit of a sack of toys. So I got the cauldron and I pulled the digital file into a 7 by 8 1/4 canvas. And I'm going to go ahead and do some things here to change it into a sack of toys, although it won't have any toys in it, but I'll probably put tags or photos or something sticking out of the top. So the first thing I did was pull it into the canvas, and I think what I'd like to do here is just kind of using the lasso tool, just selecting these two stars. I like these stars and I'd like to keep them. So I'm going to circle them, and then I'm going to new layer via copy. And that's just going to kind of bring up, if I hide this, there's just that one little star. Then I'm going to choose the cauldron again, and I'm going to do the same thing for this star over here, because I want to keep the stars because I think they're fun. So layer, new, layer via copy. So those are just going to kind of hang out there for a while. I'm actually going to hide them for now. So just kind of make those layers invisible. Going to choose the cauldron layer again. And I want to now get rid of all of these words because this isn't going to be a Halloween item. It is going to be a Christmas item. So I know that my black is a little bit different than the black that is on this actual item here. So I'm going to just use the color picker tool and select that. And then with the paint bucket, I'm just going to go through and I am going to fill all of these items so that they kind of aren't there anymore. Now you can see that some of them are not completely gone. That's not a big deal. I'm not too worried about that. But I kind of just want to get it so that they're not very visible at the moment. And I'll go ahead and just kind of use the arrow tool here to show you that they're now mostly gone. The next thing that I want to do is I want to color this red. And I'd like to use one of the reds in the December Daily Main Kit this year. So I pulled up the preview, and this is just the items that were in the contributor kit for the hybrid class. And all I really need to do is once again use the color picker tool, and I want to pick this really bright red that is the M in Mary here. So click on that, and then you can see that color is now the main color. And I will go back to my cauldron, and I want to color just this part, this dark part. I want to color it red. So I think the first thing that I actually did was I tried to just color it red like this, and I think it worked out pretty well. My opacity is at 100%, my tolerance was at 36, and then I have all of these boxes checked. So when I did that, it turned out really well, and that was all I had to do to get that to be red. And I was thinking then, do I really want this part here to be gray? And so I wasn't really sure, and I was thinking, can I fill that as well? But I do want it to be a little bit darker, even though it may not necessarily show when I have my little tag sticking out. But let's try here. I'm just going to make this a little bit darker. So I'm going to take, my little circle here and drag it down a little bit to a darker area and maybe just kind of click there. And that's how dark it is compared to what the current color is. And I think I might be okay with that. So I'll click OK. And now you'll see that the color is that new darker color. And now I want to see if I just click in here, if it's going to color just this gray part red. So let's see what happens when I do that. And it did. So perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. So now you can kind of see how this Santa sack is sort of coming together, right? Alrighty, so let's see what I want to do next. I think what I'd like to do next is separate this gold outside from this red inside. So I'm going to try with this tool here, which is the magic wand tool, and I'm going to give it a shot and see how it's going to look if I were to select just this red. Click on it once and it has completely put the little marching ants around the red part. I did not want this part to be selected, which is exactly how it turned out. If you want to take a look here, my tolerance is set at 89, and then these two boxes are checked here. And so that worked out really super well. And I'd also like to make that into its own layer now. So I'm going to go Layer, New, Layer via Copy. And that should make a layer that has just, see, if I hide that bottom layer, it has just the red part, which is exactly what I want. Let's see what else I want to do here now. I think what I'd like to also do here is to, let's see, I want to get rid of these legs. So I'm probably going to have to zoom in. And because it's a sack, I'm not so worried about whether or not this line is perfectly straight when I do erase these legs. It's a sack, so it's not perfect. It might be a little lumpy, and I'm okay with that. So I'm going to get my eraser tool here. And remember, when you're doing digital, anything you do, if you don't like the way it looks, you could just simply use this undo down here. So I'm just going to start to erase the legs off of this bottom part. And again, I'm not worried about it not being completely perfect. And I'm just removing it and trying to match it up. And once I've done that, I can just go ahead and just remove the rest of the leg. I will do these individually because if you keep erasing straight across, it'll be harder to undo. So you can see now, I can undo all of that, and then I can go ahead and redo all of that. And it's a lot easier just to do it piece by piece. So I'm happy with how that one turned out. So now I'm going to go over here and I'm going to start erasing over here. And again, trying to be as steady as possible. If I don't like it, I could just undo it. So that is great about Photoshop Elements and Photoshop and all of these digital projects. See how that's kind of not coming out exactly the way I want? So I can go back and I could re-erase again, just kind of moving back and forth, not worrying about perfection, but just kind of worrying about, do I like it? And so maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit more. Let's try to line that up a little bit there. Not so shabby. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this now because I don't need that leg either. And then I'll work on this last leg here, getting rid of that. So again, just kind of moving along, erasing it, trying to go slow. If you're more comfortable with a smaller brush size, you absolutely can use a smaller brush size. I'm not worried so much about the brush size. This little piece right here is kind of bugging me, so I'll remove that, and then I will go and I will remove the rest of the leg. This is a little lumpy here, so I'm just going to kind of move that along, and I'll zoom out. And now it really, really looks like a sack to me. So I'm kind of excited how this is turning out. Let's see what I want to do next. If I unhide this, you can see now how the legs are there. Now what I was thinking was I do want to have this border around it because I plan on doing this and then running it through my ink machine. And so I'm worried that, oh geez, let's see here. Let's hide this. I'm worried that, well, let's choose this. I don't know. If I were to fill this with black, let's see if I could fill this whole thing with black. I'm going to put my tolerance up pretty high and see if I can fill all of this with black and then bring this back. Okay, I can go ahead and erase these now here. So I'm going to leave that red part there. Zoom back in again. And now I'm going to select this layer that I have colored in completely black. And I'm going to once again get my eraser tool. And I'm going to just kind of do the same thing to this part here. And again, it's a sack, so I'm not stressing about the perfection. Like that. Maybe a little bit here. Perfect. And then I will erase the rest of that leg. I'm going to get rid of that. And I'll do the same thing over here for this leg. Again, trying to go slow. Erasing, trying to match up with the red part of the sack. And I may have to go in and do some touch-ups here. I like it. Now I'm going to go ahead and erase that leg. And then I'll do that for, and again, like I said here, I'm not too sure about this. It might need a little bit of trimming. So let's click, just click, click, click. I think that's pretty good, a little bit better. And now I'm going to go and I'm going to start to erase this leg here. So once again, doing my best to be straight. But not being OCD, which is absolutely something I suffer from all the time. My perfectionism gets in the way of a lot of things. And I have been trying to give myself grace and not be so hard on myself, because the truth is most people do not notice these little things nearly as much as I do. Okay, so let's zoom out. And I think I like that. I think I like that. So I have the black background, and then I have the, let's go over here and choose. I have my black background, I have my red sack, and I have this part here. And I'm kind of thinking, do I need to separate these? I don't think I need to. I think when I print this, I'm going to just leave this as it is. So yeah, I kind of like that. The other thing I want to do, let's hide the both sacks. And let's unhide these two stars, which I'm really eager to use. So let's see here. Let's select this star. And I want to get rid of this black around here. So I'm trying to figure out the best way to do that. Perhaps with the magic eraser tool. Right now I have a tolerance of 80. So I'm going to see what happens. Oop, we're moving. Okay. See what happens when I do this. Oh, perfect. Okay, so now the black is gone. So that made me happy. Then I'm going to click on layer 2, which is this other star here, and I'm going to do the same there. So now I just have these two gold stars, and that kind of makes me happy. I think that's exactly what I want. I'll leave them go for now, but I will bring this back into view. So here we are with my oops, out. Here we are with my two sacks. And now I have this particular piece of word art from, I believe, it's one of the digital pieces from maybe last year's December daily release. I'll have to look into that, and I will let you know if you're interested in this saying. But I don't want this circle, and I don't want still. So I am going to use my regular eraser tool, and I'm going to get rid of, I'm going to make this pretty big because I want to kind of take care of it quickly. I want to get rid of the circle on the outside, and I want to get, oop, too big. And I want to get rid of, let's see, maybe right about there. Okay, I want to get rid of this. So I'm just going to drag this around, erasing my circle. I'm going to be careful here so that I don't erase any of the merry and the bright. I want the merry and the bright. That's pretty much all I want. So I'm going to erase still. I'm not interested in that. And I'm going to go all the way around, and I'm going to get rid of the circle and the still. And now you see, it looks like I might have a little bit up here. Let's kind of just move this back and forth a little bit. Good, perfect. This is exactly what I want. So now I just have merry and bright. And I am going to now drag this into my cauldron, which is not really a cauldron anymore. It is now a Santa sack. And then I'll resize it. I'll just kind of drag it to where I want it. Let's move this down this way a little bit. Commit my changes and just kind of move it a little bit. How big do I want it? Do I want it a little bit smaller? I think I might want it just a little bit smaller. Just a little bit smaller. Let's see. And commit my changes and then kind of move that around a little bit. Yeah, I think I like it. Okay. Now I'm going to bring back, well, I'm going to bring back my stars. There are my stars. Again, I don't want them to be gold, but I am going to choose one of them and then I'll move it around a little bit. Maybe I'll put it over here. And then I will choose the other one and I don't know, I think I kind of like that one right there. Yeah, I think I kind of like that one right there. I'm going to choose the first star and then I'm going to do edit, fill layer, and I'm going to fill that one and make it black. I'm going to choose the second star, edit, fill layer, and then I'm going to make that one black as well. So now I have exactly what I was planning on having, which is the cauldron, which is now a Santa sack. Instead of saying Happy Halloween, it says Merry and Bright. Still have my 2 stars. I'm pretty happy with how this is turning out. All right, so one last thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to hide these for now. And I was thinking that, let's show you this. I want to print this out on my laser jet printer because I want the outside rim to be gold foil. But I don't want to put the gold foil on top of this and waste all of this with gold foil because I'm going to print out this red part and I'm going to put it on top. So I'm thinking that I could probably just use this red layer and I could cut so that I only have this rim to gold foil, and that will save me a lot of foil. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that this part here, which is the black part, is selected. It is the active layer. And then I am going to hold down, and I'm on a Mac, so I'm going to hold down my command and I'm going to choose the red part. And that is going to put the marching ants around it. And then I'm just going to hit the delete. Okay. And then select, deselect. And I have deleted, and I'll show you because I will hide the red part. I have deleted all of that inside black. So when I print this out on my laser printer, all that's going to print is this outside black border. And when I run it through my Mink with my foil on top, the foil is only going to adhere to where it has printed, and that is this outside rim. So that is what I'm going to do. So what I'll do, and I'm not actually going to do it, but I will do a file and then I will do a print because I've already actually made this item. So I'm just going through the process with you now because I didn't actually record my process when I was doing it because I was unsure of how it was going to turn out. So now that I know for sure that it worked out well for me, this is going to be printed on my laser printer, okay? And I'll cancel that for now, okay? So I'm going to hide that. I'm going to bring back my sack, and this now is going to be printed on my regular photo printer because I do not want this part to be foiled. I do not want to foil the red part of the sack. So what I did was I printed this out and it came out with just the red part. And then I went and I hid it and I unhid just this part. I took that paper that had the red sack on it and I loaded it into my laser printer and I printed it out so that Merry and Bright printed on top of the red sack, but only the Merry and Bright will take the foil when I run it through my Mink machine. I hope you guys understand that. So if you take a look at some of the items that I have in my post, you will see that the outside of the sack is gold foil, Merry and Bright are gold foil, and then the sack is red. Okay, so that's what I did. I think that pretty much covers everything. If you feel like there's something that I missed, that I took something for granted, that I thought you understood something when you didn't, please leave me a message. I will absolutely get back to you and let you know, because I really think this is a fun idea and I would absolutely love to see somebody do this because I had a lot of fun with it. Alrighty, thanks for playing along with me, guys, and I will see you at my desk where I show you how I'm going to put all of this together. Have a great day. Okie dokie, back at my desk. This is a piece of paper that I used my Cameo on, and I cut a wonky circle out of it. And I'm going to make a shaker pocket with this 10 by 8 page protector. So what I want to do is I saved the circle that, I guess, what do you want to call that? The positive piece. I saved the positive circle because I'm going to use it to trace with my Sharpie around the outside onto this 10 by 8 page protector. And I don't have to be super perfect here because it's not going to be seen. So I'm just drawing a line so that I know where to use my fuse tool to close up the shaker that I am going to make. So you just kind of eyeball it, go around a little bit, probably about 1/4 of an inch. And then I'm going to go ahead and I am going to get my fuse tool. I want to make sure it's hot enough, so I make a little mark there. And then I'm just going to make sure that it's open and then use the fuse to go around, and it is going to appear through that hole in the 10 by 8 paper. So let's go ahead and use the fuse here and get this circle started. So there's no need to be super careful here. You're not going to see the fusing. I know that when we use this for pockets in our project life or something, we need to be super careful. So it looks good, but I don't need to be super careful because it's going to be completely hidden. I will do all of that except for about 2 inches. I'm going to cut around this. I'm not cutting too much because I am going to see how it will adhere and how much plastic I need. And I'm just going to go around and kind of separate this, making sure, putting my finger in there to make sure that all of the fuses, if that's what you want to call them, are secure. And then I use just a whole bunch of different things here. A plastic piece from this year's plastic die cuts. I have, I think this is a vellum piece. I've chosen some other plastic and vellum pieces to put inside as well. And then I think I settle on that yellow 19. So this is how it's going to look. And I'm just kind of putting them in to see, you know, how much is too much. And again, I'm just playing here. You'll notice here that my video cut off. So after I got done, I went ahead and finished filling the pocket. And I'm going to pull this apart here to show you. I just trimmed around the outside, adhered it to the back side of the 10 by 8. And then I did put a piece of cardstock on the back to make sure that it kind of stayed in place. And it also has some words that I used, good stuff, printed them out in Photoshop Elements. So the back has some wording on it. Now here you're just going to see that I am using my craft knife to cut out the opening in the sack. And once I get done, I'm going to pull out my page with the shaker and I am going to see what the sack is going to look like next to my wonky circle shaker. So it's going to kind of be like this, covering up the words that were on the patterned paper. Here are my tags that I'm going to be using. I've already done them. I used the 10 by 8 paper with those tags on it, printed on them, and then ran the paper through my printer. On the back side of each of those tags, you're going to see I have some photos. And this is about my scrapbooking journey over the past year and going forward into the new year. Here is one of the phrases. This is a phrase that came with this year's release and a nutcracker that came with the release as well. I'm using 1/4 inch score tape here to go only around the outside of the cauldron. I want it to stay in place nice because it is going to hold those 3 tags. And I will also put a little bit around the top edge of the cut of that slice that I made for it to open, only around the top because the bottom needs to stay open so these can go in like that. Okay, So let's pull off the backing from that and then go ahead and put that in position where I'd like that to sit. And everything looks like it works out fine here. These I'd like to dress up a little bit. I do have some ribbon out. I have some twine and I have some different goodies that I'm going to hang. So you'll see here I put the ribbon through and then I put the twine. Before I pull the ribbon through the hole all the way, I put the twine in there. And I'm just going to hang some things. This is a tag chipboard piece from this year. Here's a little vellum piece. I think this is from Paisley Press this year in that kit. I ended up having to bring out my little hole puncher because I couldn't eyeball the hole. Thread those both on there and then just give that, I don't tie it super tight. I want them hanging loosely. And then I will go ahead and snip off some of that ribbon. Moving on to the next one, I have another piece of ribbon doing the same thing with the twine as well, threading it through and then pulling the ribbon the rest of the way. For this one, I have a little vellum pennant that says magic and one of the wooden stars from this year's release as well. And again, not completely tying that twine tight. And then for the last one, which I am going to have facing forward in my pocket, and I have a piece, I think this is a plastic die cut from this year. And then I took one of the chipboard phrases and I punched a little hole in that as well. A little bit tough getting this ribbon through because it was thicker, but I wanted to use the black and white. So I'll thread on both of those pieces and then I will go ahead and I will trim off the edges. And let's see, a little star. I think I put a little star here. Yes, I pull out my stars and I feel like there needs to be a star either above or below that piece. So I'll put one on there. And then I will go ahead and I will slide my tags in and trim off the ribbon. I was going to leave it super long, but that is just eye candy for my cats. So I did trim it. And here's what it looks like in the end. There you go. Happy with how this turned out. I really enjoyed making this shaker pocket, and this is like just pure crafty, right? This is just total crafty. Let's take a look and see what it looks like inside of my album. So here we go. This is what it looks like after I have cleaned up and taken some photos of it. Love all of the stuff hanging. Love the hanging stuff. Just makes me so happy. Love all the little doodads in the shaker pocket. I think that is fun. Here is a photo of my journaling. Had a lot to say, so I kind of divided it into 3 different sections and added that all to the back of those tags. Again, printing that on the 10 by 8 tag paper and then running that through my printer. And then on the back side, I have some photos that kind of show the journey that I took and the journey that I will be taking in 2024. And I do hope that you guys will continue to follow me along on my journey for the new year. I know that December Daily is a big thing and I'm coming close to the end of it, but I hope that you will join me in the future for other videos as well. Alrighty, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I am always happy to answer them, and we will see you guys in the next video.